You notice anything different? Well, this entire background is completely new and different, and I'm going to review it. I just want to let you know that everything that happens here in Manza Media HQ for you guys to see is brought to you by Manza Illustrations. I am a children's book illustrator and designer, and I design logos and children's books, commission pieces. That is me and my wife helping to design you amazing commissions and children's books and logos if you need it. Design work brought to you by Manza Illustrations is how we provide you with this content. Also, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel. It's right down there in that corner, right over there. Just subscribe to the channel. Really helps grow this. I mean, we're almost up to 50 videos now. I never imagined in my wildest dream that the first year of Manza Media would be so successful. Thank you all for that. With that out of the way, let's dive into this review. Today I have the Jamo S 801's loudspeakers. And watch this. I mean, how cool is that? These grills come off, and it reveals a really modern looking high-end kind of mid-century inspired design from Jamo. What was the reason for that? Why would you change the background? Some of you might be asking. Well, that's all due to me and my wife kind of wanting a more modern and minimalist look to the space, and everything took so much room up in this it's a small room, and these are perfect for it. I gotta tell you, right off the bat, we'll get to the cabinet. We'll get that out of the way before we touch on the speakers. Now, the cabinet was from Target, and we saw it on Facebook Marketplace. Someone had it, and you know, I lost the bid. Somebody picked it up. It was pending, and I lost that. We couldn't pick it up, or I think the family had changed their minds, didn't want to sell it anymore, understandably. And so Steph and I were like, let's just look on Target where it's from and get it new. So you know me, I'm always looking on Facebook Marketplace for good deals and good upgrades in certain hi-fi equipment. So we went on Target, and for the first time ever, I got something new for the space, and it takes up so much less space. At 60 inches wide, this piece is so nice. The width of it is 16, perfect for storing all sorts of records, perfect for any other little menagerie on the bottom there, any little knick-knacky type of things. And I love that the receiver sits on a solid slate of glass. What really sold me on the piece was this piece of glass that the receiver could perfectly slide right into. And how awesome is that? All the buttons and knobs are right at your disposal before I had to open up a cabinet to get to anything. And that was just a hassle for me. Every time you hear this of the cabinet, open that and fiddle with the knobs and levers, and now it's all at my disposal right here. Sure, I have to do a little bit more dusting every now and again. We have 2 dogs, but otherwise it's well worth the upgrade and the price for this kind of look. Now, it's not too tall, so I hope you don't mind if you are going to pick something like this up. I hope you don't mind kind of bending over to use your turntable. You have to bend over unless you're sitting near it or it's sitting on the floor. We weren't that big of fans of the black legs and handles for the doors, so we went ahead and painted them gold. As far as that, all I can say is it does the job. It's not real wood. It's not made of a high-end material. It was a hassle to set up, I will say. But once it's all said and done, it really does the job. It does exactly what it needs to do in holding all my records, my favorites on either side, my receiver in the middle on a nice piece of modern looking glass. It has the perfect amount of distance for my Jamo speakers. I'm running them out of the Nikko 7070, and they run beautifully. The receiver barely heats up. Maybe after a long period of time it'll start to, but overall these are amazing. At 8 ohms, these are bookshelf speakers, but in an advanced kind of way. You'll get them in the mail. They come in a nice big box, and they are heavy. They're heavy little pieces there. you know, and the design of them are very mid-century inspired with that teak wood bottom and the wood grills. It gives an aesthetic of a pure retro bliss with these. I am obsessed with these, the way they look. It's hard to find white speakers. They're all that dark brown wood, and that dark brown wood is great and really awesome when you've got a great bachelor pad with wood paneling and, you know, from the past and stuff like that. I love that look, I really do. But, you know, over time, it's just another piece of furniture, and what's more in contemporary nowadays is that white look. Everything is white, from furniture to chairs to upholstery. Everything in our home has a certain tinge of off-white or cream, and these speakers complement that exquisitely. One of the little features I like is on the top. You can put a set of tweeters on the top that are actually angled. You can pop them in there and you know, have a sort of upward reflecting sound if you wanted. I opted out for that, and I don't feel like I need that. These are amazing speakers. The soundstage, the depth, the warmth, the clarity. It's amazing. I've never heard speakers this size sound so good. Now, don't be confused with the S801s from Jamo. I heard a little bit lesser review of these, though they are comparable. They're a little bit less in as far as quality goes, sound-wise. Same quality, look-wise, and you could get confused. Look for that front port. It looks like a little handle. That's where the bass comes out. That's how you know it's the S803. I know these numbers could be a little bit over the top sometimes. You know, I'm looking at these and I'm seeing the numbers. I'm like, which one is which? What? I mean, I like the look of that one. You know, that's how I shop. And you know, I looked at reviews of both of them. And I haven't heard the S801s, but I am happy I spent the extra money and bought the S803s. I think it's like $60 more. Just go with the S803s. I mean, you're gonna love it. I mean, nowadays people have smaller and smaller spaces, and you know, this fills the room, and it doesn't take up all that space that the 501s did. I could barely get out of my patio door here. It was filled. Yeah, it was great. It was like a piece of furniture, but I now have a piece of furniture that the speakers can happily sit on. They're about 3 to 4 feet apart. That's all you need to create a great soundscape. Now, before purchasing, I was really leery that we would need a subwoofer from Jamo, and I honestly don't know if we need one 100%. I would love to have one in a perfect setup to really hone in those lower decibels. This only goes to 84 dBs, so in those low, I was testing stuff like, I was testing out music from, you know, tracks from Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon. You know, this is that EMI stereo made in Holland, 2003 pressing, one of the best pressings of this album, and that's what I used to test out speakers, and goodness was it impeccable. I mean, I have never heard things this small make such a sound. With the front, it's got front loading bass. I think the bass just it comes out so clearly and so warmly, and so it's so present in the mix, especially on newer pressings. I tried everything from older music to you know, more contemporary pressings. Typically, you need to help your hi-fi turntable create bass for you. But with these, they do the job in a pinch. And just how much do you love that you could just hide everything with this? Now, I will say maybe the mid-range is a little weak, the mids, but they're ever present, and I hear them. And the staging, it sounds like Sinatra's in the room. It sounds like the vibraphones are playing right there. It sounds like, you know, it sounds like there's an orchestra in this small, tiny room. And that, my friends, is what you're going to want to look for. This is $149 value. I think I maybe even got them cheaper on Amazon. And they came quick. They came like 3 days later. I believe they were even prime. I mean, you can't get better. And I am so happy that I've made the switch from amazing and outdated to high-end and minimalist. That transition for me was tough. I didn't want to make the jump, but once I did, I saw, like, using a speaker that's from today with today's technology at 40 watts. I mean, these fill the house. It's like if you want a high-end experience, better than Alexa, better than any stereo that you've had, you check these out. They're really comparable to most high-end. They're louder than my Bose 501s. They're louder than my Sony tower speakers, and they are the best of the bunch so far. As a high-end HIFI enthusiast, these really contend to being the most favorite pair of speakers that I've owned in my tenure as a lover of all things loud music. These go loud, and these don't have a pressure point where it's like, whew, that's a little too hot, don't want to push it too far. Never thought that once. I'm sitting at, maybe this is halfway, and if I'm turning it up a little bit, I'm maybe right here. That's all I need. I don't need all the way to the end. I just need right there. That's all I need. Next, I want to talk about what the Bluetooth capability in this. I have to plug in my small Echo to my receiver, and they go to the speakers, and that is a little bit of a lessened experience, than it always was. I mean, running the Bluetooth out of this receiver, I mean, it doesn't really have as much depth in any sense of the word, but it's there. It's still great. Most people wouldn't notice it, but I certainly do. Bluetooth doesn't sound as good as running a record or playing the turntable, playing the radio, for example, things like that. But I rarely put on the Bluetooth on these. I can, and it's great at parties to just have on shuffle. It's great if you don't feel like playing records. But I mostly always feel like playing records. I can stand there and it just sounds like I have headphones on. When you get that unified sound where it's coming like this at you and you hear that, it just sounds like you have amazing headphones on, but you have nothing on at all, is all I can describe it as. Overall, I think that's going to wrap this up. I would give the treble a 10, the mids maybe a 5 out of 10, and the bass a 10. A 10! And feel free to turn them in. If you like, experiment with the sound a little bit. You can move these anywhere you want. For a whopping total of $300, you're going to be in business when it comes to hi-fi with this storage TV console table and these speakers. You're gonna be in business. That's a wrap for me, folks. Thank you for watching to the end of the video. Have a happy and safe holiday. If you want to like and subscribe to the channel, that'd be great. And with that out of the way, you can find me lounging to a melody. Take care, folks, and bye-bye.
Thank you, folks, for tuning into this episode. If you do feel so inclined as to follow me on social media, you may gladly do so at Manza Media Art and Manza Media on every other platform. If you like prints, I've got an Etsy shop where you can see some of my original artwork and fan artwork. I'll catch you folks on the next episode of Manza Media.